Hi everyone, good afternoon. So we started the class yesterday by saying hello in a different language and we said konnichiwa, which means hello in Japanese. So we are still on chapter number 3, Know Your Keyboard from the book, where we're going to learn all about the different keys on the keyboard. We learned last week, a quick revision. We learned about alphabet keys, which are used to type letters and words. We learned about number keys, which are used to type numbers. And we also learned that a keyboard usually has 101 keys and some have 104 keys. So this week we are going to learn about the spacebar key, the enter key and the backspace key. But before that, it's very important for us to know what a cursor is. So whenever you're typing on the computer and you see this blinking line, this is called a cursor, and it tells us whenever you type where the words are going to appear on the screen. So if I type anything on the computer, you'll be able to see that the cursor also moves as you type the letters on the monitor. So this cursor is a small blinking standing line that tells us where the next letter is going to appear on the screen. Alright then, so let's move on to the topic. The first key that we're going to learn about is called the spacebar key. And it's very easy to find it on the keyboard because it is the longest key on the keyboard. So whenever you are typing on the computer and you need to give a space between the words, you press the spacebar key and then you insert, which means to put space between the words. Now I'm going to show you how you do it, okay? Now if you look at this sentence right here, you will notice that there is no gap or no space between the words. Now this is not how you usually write on a paper or in your copies, right? So if I want to correct this, I'll write my and then I press the spacebar key and then it gives me a space, name, and then space is, I press the spacebar, you get a space, then Kenzie space Dorkar. So don't forget that the space bar key is used to create or insert, which means to put space between words. Alright, so moving on to the next key, we are going to learn about the enter key. So while you are typing on the computer and you want to go to the next line, you press the enter key, and there are 2 enter keys on the keyboard. So on my laptop, if you see that I have one enter key and then there's another enter key over here on the right side. So I have 2 enter keys on the keyboard. Now we are going to press the enter key and see what happens, what changes you can see on the screen. Alright. So I've typed this sentence, yeah, and you can see that the cursor is at the end of the full stop, right? So if you want to move this cursor to the next line and you want the next letters or words or the sentence to be typed below this on the next line, we press the enter key. So when I press the enter key, you will notice that the cursor has moved below on the next line. So whatever I type after that is going to appear on the next line. So the moment I press the enter key, the cursor moves to the next line. So before we move on to the next key, can you tell me what do you do when you make a mistake or an error while you write on a paper? Simple, you use an eraser, right, to erase your errors. And we also have our word of the day, which is error, which means to make a mistake. So next time, whenever you make a mistake, you can instead say, I made an error. Alright? So the next key that we're going to learn about is called the backspace key. So it acts just like an eraser, and whenever you make any mistake or an error while typing, you can use this key to delete any letter or any number which is on the left side of the cursor. Alright, so this is the backspace key, and sometimes it might not have backspace written on it, it'll just have an arrow that's pointing to the left. So that is how you know that the backspace key will delete anything which is on the left side. So this is the left side and this is the right side. So when you press the backspace key, it deletes anything that is on the left side of the cursor. So the standing 9 is the cursor, right? So when I press the backspace key, it deletes the full stop first and then the U. So now you know that the mistake or the error that we made while writing this is, my name is Samairu, but we don't have any Samairu in the class, right? So it's supposed to have an A at the end. So you don't need this U. The U is an error. So what we do is we press the backspace key, and since U is on the left side of the cursor, it gets erased or deleted, and we can replace it with an A and a full stop. So now this sentence makes sense. My name is Samaira. Alright children, so I would want you to keep practice using these keys on your home computer, and I'll see you next week. Alright, goodbye.